So, our title for podcast today is about designing success on how ETSA Architects applies the four functions of management. So, hello everyone, and welcome to our Management in Practice podcast, where we explore how real companies use management principles in their everyday operations. I'm Irsha, and joining me today is my co-host Amin.
Alright, so hi everyone. It's very nice to see you, and we're so glad to have you with us for another episode of our podcast. Okay, so today we'll be talking about something that's not only important for business but also in architecture. There is four functions of management, that is planning, organizing, leading, and controlling.
That's right. To help us understand how these functions work in a real company, we are honored to have a very special guest from one of Malaysia's leading architectural firms, ETSA Architects.
So, ETSA Architects is well known for their amazing work in architecture, planning, interior, and project management consulting. Since their founding in 1992, they've built a strong reputation for innovative and sustainable designs, including award-winning projects such as the Raja Haji Fisabilillah Mosque in Cyberjaya, Malaysia's first green mosque.
And joining us today is Mr. Azim Tan Sri Aziz, Architect Azim, which is the Chief Executive Officer at ETSA Architects. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
No, thank you for having me here. Very nice to share my knowledge.
So we are really delighted to have you, Mr. Azim. Thank you for taking the time to share your insights about how ETSA applies to management in its daily work. So without further ado, let's get started with our first management function, which is planning. Okay, so to begin with, could you tell us a little about ETSA Architects, like how it all started and how planning has played a role in the company's growth over the years?
Yes, ETSA Architect actually founded by myself and together my partner, which previously have worked in another company. We were all salaried architects, and we worked for 5 years. And as you know, to be a registered architect, you have to pass an exam called Part 3 exam, professional design or architect professional, where you can practice. So that normally take about a few years for you to be able to learn and to be registered. You have to take an exam, a very difficult exam. Only about 10% of every year pass. So I managed to pass after 5 years of working with other people, and soon after I set up as architect in 1992. Today is about 33 years I've gone through many experiences, probably 3 or 4 downturns, business cycle downturns, and technology changes over the years, with computer now, AI, digital transformation is taking over the profession, so we have to adapt. And now we are still. I'm already looking at succession. To someone to take over the company after I will retire. As you know, I'm already over 60 years old. So I probably have another 10 years to or 15 years to practice before I would like to retire, and before that to have someone to able to carry out the company to exist in the longer term.
I see.
Okay.
Thank you for telling us that.
Okay, so that's very fantastic of you telling us your stories. Okay, so when it comes to planning, so what are the first steps your team takes before starting a new project?
First of all, just to add from what I mentioned just now, is that when you want to start a company, it's a big responsibility, and you have to take a bit of vision and passion. That have to come first, and you must to know a little bit of running a business. Yeah, business is important. Although we are in the business of architecture, creative business, but at the end of the day, is dollars and cents. You have to pay people, you have to pay your taxes, you have to pay your rental.
That's true.
So you have to make sure that whatever project you do and whoever you hire, you are able to pay your monthly bills. Otherwise, people will not be able to want to work in your our staff to help you, because in architecture is vast. It's not only about designing, drawing pretty pictures. Yes, business aspect and creative aspect to make from scratch an idea into a built form. So it is normally very long process. It takes years. Sometimes it takes more than 6 years from initiation for an idea to having it completed. On top of that, we as an architect, we also have to be aware of the regulations, the law, the contract, and able to lead. So even if you want to start the company in your planning stage, you have to be able to assume those duties. And if you can't assume, you have to make sure that your partners or the people that you hire can take the burden of you. So, in order to have a project smooth running from beginning and to the end, and to make sure that the client is satisfied with your work, there are many rules and regulations. You have to deal with the local authorities. You have to deal with, in some instances, the clients, marketing people. Like for example, if you want to do like an apartment or a condominium, normally there's a process of studies, marketing research, which we are part of. So there are a long process to get the idea workable, to satisfy the client's vision. So from that planning stage, from the beginning, you have to make sure that you're able to lead the team, because normally architect leads the team, unless it's a bigger projects where you have involved project managers to help you coordinate all this works with other consultants as well.
I see. Okay. Thank you for telling us that. So I have one more question to ask you, Mr. Azim. ETSA has handled many large and complex projects. So could you share an example of how the company plans a major project? Maybe one that involved sustainability or innovative design.
One come in mind because it's very sentimental to me, because it's a project which I had to share my vision with the client and his vision with me. So we have to work, and because it's involved various stakeholders, meaning very many people, from the client, the company, to the minister, and to the sultan. This is the project you mentioned, Raja Fi Sabibillah. It's the first green platinum mosque in Malaysia, and I think at that time is one of the first green platinum mosque in the world. And now is the second largest mosque that uses solar panels as part of their energy consumption savings and using renewable energy. So that from that start, because it's built in Cyberjaya. So Cyberjaya, as you know, is technological hub. It's the future, a city that was planned many years ago, 30 years ago. So it has to reflect. What we want to do is that we discuss it with the client at the particular time, and say that we need something that is different from most other mosques that you've seen. So it has to be implemented with new ideas, never done before. You have to be innovative. Like for example, using solar panels, green roofs, renewable materials, green materials, landscaping, water harvesting, and for energy consumption, reducing the energy bills, and also for the users, how comfortable they be, because as you know, different times the people praying different numbers. There's Friday prayers, there's different 5-time prayers, so it has to be able to expand and contract, and the space can be reused for other function. For example, in this Raja Fi Sabilillah, we had the idea from cradle to grave. So as soon as someone has a child, they will be going to the mosque, and the kanduri, and then after that, if they get married, they also will get married in akad nikah in the mosque, and have their function there, and then your hari rayas and your doa selamat, and also when you pass away, your janazah will also be, they have bilik mandi janazah, so it can be used there. So before you brought to to the grave to be buried. So a mosque is now, we are working a lot in ideas of mosque. It has to be like a community center. It just cannot function as just a place of worship. So a lot of ideas has to come up, and we have to look at expansion. As like Sabajaya is a growing township, so future Jama'ahs will come in, and the mosque have to grow effectively as the years ahead. So that's one thing that we have to think about. It's nice to hear that until today, people are still referring to Raja Fi Sabilillah as the benchmark for after 10 years completion. People still referring that as the benchmark for sustainable mosque.
So that's very interesting. Okay. So now, how does ATSA approach long-term planning, like deciding future goals, improving technology, or expanding to new locations?
Anyway, I started as an architect very young, very naive, and always have an idea, but very ambitious at that particular time, and idealistic. So sometimes you have to ground yourself in the reality of life. So without any business background, you have to hands-on learning. You have to learn as you grow. So we learn, and fortunately or unfortunately, we have to learn through experience. Through good decision and bad decision as well. So fortunately, there are more good decision than bad decision. But after 30 years and many ups and downs, we have to really, and our responsibility has changed over the time. So we have to make sure that we revisit our goals, objectives, and how to move forward, because technology has changed, and someone like me, I'm not very well versed with the incoming, although I know, but the younger generation of those who are graduating right now or in the future will be more technological savvy. So you have to allow these people and accept. Sometimes there is a clash of thinking. So sometimes we think that we are right. They think that they are right. So sometimes we have to, in a way, navigate together the ideas, and they do also need to be showed the way, how it is in the real life in running a project, because it's vast. Like I said, it's one of the most difficult profession, I would say, with its liabilities and expectations. So and sometimes you have, for me in experience wise, I after a while I have to look at long-term planning and have to be flexible in terms of changing. Like for example, we had COVID, and then after that the downturn, and then so you have to be flexible and able to plan how to get projects, how to deliver projects, and with a strict budget on our side, and to meet the expectation from the stakeholders, meaning the clients, the purchasers, or the users. So that takes forward thinking, and later on reflecting on how the particular building or house or apartment functions. So from there you can learn to move forward for the next project. It's always for the betterment of the next project you'll get.
That's really interesting to hear, because you're right about saying that people in older generation and this generation, they have different mindsets with each other, right?
Yeah.
So they tend to clash, like argue with each other.
Yes.
So it's how we navigate the communication with each other, with older generation and younger generations. So I find it really interesting when hearing you say that. And may I ask, how old were you when you started architect?
I was I was early in terms of my education completion, and I started. I was a bit ambitious, and so I started at 27.
Oh, 27.
27 years old. Not sometimes not knowing the challenges is probably better, because you will never, even if I know, maybe I will not start it. So you just go with what you hope to do, because I wanted to have a practice on my own. It was a different time, not today is much more demanding. Those days not so demanding. So and I was I didn't have family at that particular time, so it's easy for me to use whatever energy I have and focus on this particular idea that I have to set up with my own practice.
I see. But the past is the past, right? So we need to move on.
Yeah.
But
Now is the stage of succession. So you have to thinking of handing over. Not sometimes people are thinking of holding it, passing it to someone, to sometimes family members, but in the real life, I thought about this very much. You cannot think of it as a sentimental that, I have to give it to my family, I have to get it. You have to be okay. Whoever is willing and able to pass on, to carry on the work, yes, it's better for the person to take over rather than you give to someone who don't appreciate it.
Yeah, that's true.
The hard work that you've done for the last 30 years or so. So they have maybe their own idea. but or their own direction, but at least the base is there, the name is there, the brand is there, and it's easier to move. And like for example, in my experience, in you have to keep on renewing yourself. You have to keep on make yourself relevant.
Yeah.
Even after 30 years of working with the great competition, the competition out there is amazing. Is sometimes can be cutthroat. And you have to compete with some other firms and the new firms, the established firms. So the only way is for you to make yourself relevant. You get yourself involved in the institute. I do a lot of writing. I publish papers of my thoughts, and I do a lot of speaking. Invitation to speak. So you have to balance. Although the work that I do is actually quite heavy as well. So, but you have to allow some time to allow for this little things which it does not bring projects or directly, but it keeps you relevant. Yeah, and people know and will refer to you. Yeah, it doesn't have to be accurate all the time, but it is just because as you know, things like this has a lot of opinions. Not necessarily what you say is correct or what they say is correct. It's what you believe in. If you believe that the thing works, and you think you can show it to people that it works, and people can buy into your idea, and then you're probably there. Otherwise, they will tell you it's not that. So that you have to accept, okay, this is not probably the right way. There are many different ways. We are not exactly the best way, but we try to learn from other people as well. And we enter a lot of design competition. So we win some, we lose many, but it teaches us what's out there, what we are lacking. If you don't. You have to be competitive sometimes. So by being competitive, you have to compete. And to compete is like for us, we have to enter some open competition, and you can see the results. Sometimes it's painful. You spend a lot of hours doing it, and it's not being shortlisted or you win the competition, but it's a learning process. You see what people's done, their ideas, the technology they use, how they present themselves, what ideas, architecture ideas they use, and then you have to look back and say, okay, what did I miss here? I missed something that the younger generation has move on. You are still operating differently. Ideas that you are using are probably outdated. So it's challenging. It's challenging, but yeah, as long as I have the energy to do it, because it's like architecture. You need people. You need ideas. You need to be able to collaborate. You need to be able to share ideas, and debate, or you get to fight for your ideas. Whether it's even if it's been put down, you got to
fight
say
for
no.
it.
Fight for it. This is what it ought to be. So people are probably not well informed, so you got to tell them, oh, this is probably the better design. Not necessarily you're gonna win your debate, or but you gotta take it with a pinch of salt. Okay,
Yes.
Move on to the next one.
At least we get to learn some more new informations, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's move on to next question. So every company faces challenges, and I'm sure planning in architecture isn't always going smoothly. So what are some of the common planning challenges ETSA faces, and how does the team overcome them?
When you talk about challenges and planning, sometimes what you plan, sometimes it works and sometimes it did not work as you expected. And you have to be able to be malleable enough to navigate that. Sometimes you plan the traditional way, you plan that the work will run smoothly. Is it everything in the perfect? You don't have every challenge you face you can resolve. Sometimes it's difficult. Main thing is, for example, in our profession, we have to deal with a lot of other stakeholders. Not only our client, we have to deal with local authorities, we have to deal with other consultants, the stakeholders, meaning the purchaser, the expectation. So, and on top of that, the most of all, your cash flow. You have to make sure at the end of the day, although you have probably the brightest ideas or the biggest project, the fanciest design, but at the end of the day, it boils down to cash flow. Whether you are being paid on time, your fees are enough, adequate, you put enough resources or too much resources or not enough resources. So sometimes you have to, as and when, to make sure that that has to be covered. Yes, I mean, in this situation, sometimes in today's business environment, it's challenging. There are times where you don't get paid on time. Sometimes you meet with situation where contractual matters you have to overcome. Local authorities is bureaucracy as well. So there's a lot of rework. You have to do something, you have to amend and redo, and every amendment, every changes costs money and time. So even the best plan project that you do, you plan for the project, how many years it will take. It does not normally sometimes fall to your own timeline or the client's timeline. So you have to from time to time revisit and see how you can maneuver through the all the challenges that you have to go through.
See, so as you mentioned, the part where you planning, that's very interesting to hear. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Okay, so now let's move on to the second management section, that is organizing. Okay, so organizing is all about turning actions into planning into actions. So how does ETSA organize its teams and resources to make sure every project runs smoothly from start to the end?
First and foremost, in architecture, there are different stages. So your resources are sometimes in the beginning it might not be as much as what you need in the middle, or sometimes it's what you need. Your resources that you require in the beginning is much more than in the middle or towards the implementation stage. So depending on the demands of what is expected of you, normally the demands are imposed by the client. So you have to sit down and assess, okay, how much effort that we have to put in. Nowadays, technology do help in overcoming some of the challenges, but it comes with a cost, because all this now subscription based, because you're talking about software, computers, and it comes with a cost because they are not cheap. So you have to balance between time, the money that you're going to get paid, and also effort that you have to put in to make sure that your design is acceptable by the client or by the stakeholders. We are fortunate in a way that we are also design based. So design is one thing that we put a lot of effort in, and we like to that gets you through the door. That's the first step. Gets you through the door. People appreciate your design, and when you design well, they will come back and ask you to do some more, of their work. And then because we have that, and then after that we have to be able to coordinate the work with other consultants, and also to submit the plans to the local authority. So the local authority, you have to have staff to be able to communicate with the various local authorities. You're talking about Majlis Daerah or Majlis Pemandaran KL, or DBKL or Shah Alam, and that process normally is long. It takes about 6 months to a year to get something approved. And then after that, you have to have another team to do all the construction drawings for tender, for people to price, contractor to price, for the design that you're going to build. Once it's approved, so then the client can agree on a price with a contractor. Sometimes you have to make sure that the contractor also able to do it. Otherwise, you'll be suffering. For them, if the contractor is not performing, we are put into a situation to resolve the situation, how to make sure that the contractor does the work. And at the end of the day, after that, when you appoint a contractor, normally it takes 3-4 years for it to be built. So then you have a very able staff or ourselves to be do the technical work on the site, to be able to sit in meetings, to give direction, to organize the contract. And after completion, you have to produce this necessary certificate for completion and for approval for people to move in. And after that, you have to have another 2 years to make sure there's no defects. So at various stages, you have to have different people to look into the scope.
The scope.
That's architecture. If your other business is different, it's not probably the same. But our, like I mentioned, is quite intense and not as easy as open up a restaurant or something like that. Although they have their challenges as well.
It's a completely different thing, right?
Yeah, totally different.
So could you tell me about a project where good organizing really made a difference? So maybe one where teamwork and coordination help overcome major challenges?
I think a lot of it has to be experience. You have to have good people committed into with the timeline and without any ad hoc changes to the project, and that delays it. And experience do play, and good people do play a part in making sure that it's successful.
I see. Okay, that is really impressive. It sounded like the organization plays a big part in ATSA's success. Okay, so now let's move on to the third function, which is leading.
So, leadership is such an important element in any company. So, how does ATSA's leadership team motivates and inspire employees to do their best work?
Yes, leadership actually, you have to be able to lead. That it comes from natural leadership, or you have to learn from reading books. So, and you're able to, must be able to communicate, especially your staff, and at times motivate them, egging them to, complete it on time, to make sure that the work is done. And a lot of it is a lot of work where you have to review constantly what is produced, and then not one single person can do it. It has to be a team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So next, could you share how ATSA's leaders, such as yourself, promote teamwork and collaboration among architects and engineers?
I think over the years, when you started, you have to impress people through your communication, through your work, and through your work actually will get recognition. And in this world of design, recognition plays a part. And if you want to be known in this business, so the leadership is to able to communicate and show them that what is produced or what your idea is can work. And communicating with the various stakeholders like the engineers, the QS, even the client, also plays a part. And it's a lot of work, and it has to do a lot of checking, a lot of communicating, informing, instructing. That is an ongoing daily work that you have to do on a constant basis.
I see. Okay. So, with multiple offices across Malaysia, how does the leadership ensure consistency and communication among all branches?
Well, sometimes it is not easy, because there's a level of consistency that you expect. Not all your communication goes through, but you have to have good people that able to interpret your thoughts, your expectation. So people must be motivated to end up producing good work, and the client is happy with your work. At the end of the day, you need to get projects, the next projects, and that will be through word of mouth. And what people see of the quality of work that you produce.
I see. Okay. So now let's move on to our final management function, which is controlling. Okay, so controlling, as you already know, controlling ensures that everything goes according to plan. So my question to you is that I understand that ATSA follows a cash management system, which stands for quality, environment, safety, and health. Could you tell us more about how that system helps the company maintain control and quality in its projects?
Cash actually is a system where you have to have it documented. And it's a written document, it's a thick document. So I expect, not always successfully, but I expect all my staff or my architects to understand the system, because this is what is expected nowadays, not only from ourselves but from the general public or the stakeholders. So through documentation and reviewing what works and what doesn't work, and then adopting as the time goes on. The document is a live document. It has to able to be able to adapt to the situation as technology, as expectation of people, changes and government ruling, especially on environment and sustainability. So that has to be implemented as and when you go on in producing your work.
I see.
I see. Okay, so every project has risks and challenges. So could you share an example of time when strong control measures had helped ATSA handle a difficult situation?
Oh yes, actually, all projects has risks, but I wouldn't use control in the sense of that I have to control everything. So control is delegated, so to other of our senior staff, so they know what is expected. They can act independently, even without referring to me directly, because that will slow down things. So if you have translated and they are good enough to produce the work to your expectation, then they can be able to you can able to delegate that through your trust in them. So you have to do a lot of trusting that they can handle a situation without involving me personally. So then otherwise I will not be able to do other things if it requires my go ahead or my instruction.
So, as you were saying, so I want to ask you something. What are some of the key performances indicator or measurements that ATSA uses to evaluate project success?
Sometimes we are put in a situation where the client will give us feedback. They will give their rating to us, and sometimes we have to also take the good and the bad. Not all projects are run equally. Depending on the people who runs it, depending on your focus or your attention that you give to a particular project, and also the situation. You have sometimes not so good clients, or not so good contractors, or not so good consultants. So all that is risk, and you have to deal with risk and able to overcome that risk as you go along, navigating until at the end of the day is completion. How well it's completed. And then some project can run over 10 years, and half of your life is just solving problems, and then you are risking a lot of things, and how you reduce your risk. And risk is actually about exposure to critics, to contract matters and all that. And so you have to. This all come from experiences. You have to go through that experience, and no books can actually teach you some of this, especially particularly in our field.
When you mentioned that your colleagues or staff that are not always going to listen to you, that must have been so annoying.
Oh yes, yes, that's true. I have to deal with that almost on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. So, and looking ahead, how is ATSA planning to improve its controlling systems in the future?
Actually, a lot of this are all set up. What is expected of you is set up. It's just for people to, because I can't, we the directors, I have one of the directors can't, because we handle about 20 projects at the same time. And at the same time, we had to also replenish or get new projects. So our attention sometimes is scattered. We have to shift our attention if the problems are severe or not severe. So from time to time, you have to make sure that we can manage that.
I see. Okay.
So that's great. It is amazing to see how AXA maintains such high standards through all these management functions. Yeah. Okay. So before we wrap up, we'd love to hear your advice for students, especially those who studying management or architecture. So what lessons can they learn from AXA apply to these management functions?
I always say this, I do get myself involved in universities, and I do get to talk to students, graduating students, in our case sometimes bachelor's or master's students. So depending on their vision, what they want to do with their lives, this is not an easy profession, I would say. It's a lot of challenges. So one thing is that you have to be passionate. That's one. Passionate in architecture, in my field. You have to be able to love doing architecture, because it's the only thing that you probably can hold on to continuing doing architecture. Secondly, I am increasingly mindful about business management. You have to look into the books. Although it's probably one thing that you don't want to handle, but time from time again, you have to make sure your cash flow, your expenses are controlled. If you want to survive long term, what are your expectations? Sometimes you have to look at long term sustainability of the firm's duration, future existence as well. So budget and all that has to be played into account.
I see. Okay. So thank you so much, Mr. Azim, for spending time with us today and sharing your experiences and insights. So we really appreciate it so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you for your time, sir. So and of course, thank you for our listeners for joining us on Management in Practice. We hope today's episode helped you understand how the 4 functions of management, which are planning, organizing, leading, and controlling, are applied in a real business environment.
So if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share it with your classmates or colleagues, and follow us for more educational podcasts.
Once again, I'm Irsha and
I'm Amizarif.
And we are from F10C. Thank you.
Thank you.